I think there are several dimensions to informing patients about the disease and what they might expect. First is it's a complex autoimmune disease that is predominant in women as compared to men. There can be a bimodal age distribution, but in general, there's about a 40 to 50 year incidence peak, which is a little bit later than MS in some populations. In terms of what to expect, rapid diagnosis, minimizing the effects of relapse are really critical. One of the differences between MS and NMO is that relapses in NMO are cumulative, and they tend to create greater and greater disability as the process goes forward. The exciting and hopeful part of the story is that there are now clinical trials ongoing. This is very different than it had been just 5 or 6 years ago when there were no clinical trials. In addition to the current clinical trials, we're learning more and more about the science and the immunology of the disease, so that the clinical trials ongoing today, which hopefully will lead to approved therapies in the near term, will be stepping stones to even better drugs going forward, and potentially immune tolerization to reset the immune system and solve disease once for all. The current clinical trials are about halfway through their projected target time and enrollment targets. With any luck, and given that they may have a strong rationale for how they work in the disease, the projections are that the trials at hand will be finishing late 2018, and with good fortune, perhaps approvable or at least reviewable by the regulatory agencies the end of 2018, and perhaps become available 2019. That's actually just 2 or 3 years away, so that's very exciting. There's a tremendous amount of optimism, given that just several years ago there was really not much happening in the field, and the disease was not well known in terms of it being any different from MS. Through the Guthrie-Jackson Charitable Foundation and its efforts, now we know the disease is quite different from MS. There are clinical trials engaged. There is a large international clinical consortium which focuses on NMO. Its membership now includes 77 outstanding researchers from around the world, 23 countries. Very exciting. Industry is engaged. Strategic partners are engaged. So there's really a rising tide to solve NMO. There's a similarity in terms of autoimmune disease that affect the central nervous system. When the immune system loses tolerance, it can misrecognize antigens that may affect different types of tissues, and those misrecognitions manifest as different types of disease. In MS, the antigens that are not well characterized are different than those we believe to be functioning in NMO. But the common thread is that the immune system has lost the ability to differentiate between self and non-self in NMO, MS, myasthenia gravis, many other autoimmune diseases that affect the immune system. Its mission to solve NMO-SD, and we do that by integrating a number of different activities. First, we promote advocacy among patients and their needs and unmet needs. We facilitate research by basic scientists, clinical researchers, translational researchers, and through clinical trials. We interact with industry partners in terms of facilitating clinical trial understanding and information and education. And then we also work with strategic partners, including the Immune Tolerance Network, the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, and others, because NMO is very similar to MS on the surface, but it's very different when it comes to the mechanisms of disease and how it's treated.